this because at the time I thought this was preposterous. How could avid tea drinkers be convinced that it was detrimental to their health? My friends, I was naive. Okay, back to the standoff. As you recall, neither the British customs officials nor the General Committee had taken any action. However, this lull had a limit. According to customs regulations, the royal government had seizure rights if the tariffs were not paid within 20 days. The deadline was December 21st. In the early morning hours of December 22nd, 1773, customs officers and their hired hands, with the protection of the sheriff and his deputies, boarded the London, offloaded the 257 chests, and stored them in the exchange cellars. In the next issue of the South Carolina Gazette, editor-publisher Peter Timothy was awestruck. It was done with so much expedition that the whole job was completed before most imagined it would have begun. There was never an instance of so great a number of packages being taken out and stored in so short a time. Why was Timothy so impressed? Well, it turns out 182 of these chests were Bohea tea, the cheapest of the teas. And some of those chests weighed 400 to 450 pounds. The number 257 may not be impressive, but the total cargo amounted to 70,000 pounds of tea. This was humiliating for the city protesters, and even more so after receiving news of the outcomes in Boston, Philadelphia, and New York. The activists would have to do better. On June 26th, the Magna Carta, captained by Richard Maitland, sailed into Charleston Harbor. Word quickly spread that the ship had 2.5 chests of tea on board. The Gazette speculated, it is expected that the captain will carry it back to England. It wasn't going to be anywhere near that easy. Charleston now had a permanent committee which included future President and Governor John Rutledge. Called before the committee at the exchange, the consignees declined the shipment. Captain Maitland swore he didn't know how the tea had gotten on board and further promised that he would prevent its offloading. Another standoff began. The customs officials did nothing. The committee did nothing as the 20-day deadline clock ticked away. The deadline passed on July 16th, but nobody budged. 2 days later, a rumor quickly spread that the customs officers were on the move. Word went out to the committee members to gather at the exchange. The members had just passed a resolution to hold Maitland to his word when somebody burst into the room declaring the shipment had been unloaded and was being stored where? Yep, exactly. The exchange cellars. The members hurriedly adjourned, hustled down the stairs, and burst outside, only to see the last chest being stored by the customs officers. This small shipment had literally been stored right under the committeemen's noses.